Hi guys, I'm Emma,
And Moira.
And I'm Paige.
and welcome back to What She Said. Today we're doing another Spill the Tea episode. We're probably going to have a lot to talk about, so we may have to split it into two again. You never know. Grab a cup of tea or maybe a glass of wine. We won't judge, and let's get into it.
Can I go first?
Of course you can.
Did any of you see the Grammys?
No.
No.
I saw something controversial.
Oh, yes. Well, there's a few controversial things. I'm
Mm.
not going to go with the main controversial thing at the moment. However, I do want you to look up Will Smith's son at the Grammys.
Oh, I did see that.
I
Oh,
didn't see it, but I've heard.
Oh my goodness.
it was
What was
like,
that about? What was that all about?
I have no idea. If you haven't seen, I think his name is Jaden, and
Yeah.
he had almost
Diorama.
like a house on his head
Yeah.
that
Oh,
looked like
okay. Yeah, no.
it
I
looked like
did
it
see
was
that
made with
picture.
like
Yeah.
toilet paper rolls and like cardboard boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And his
And it
head
was
was
like he
coming
had a
through
little
like the
cutout
front
for his
door.
face.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is
Is
that?
that
It's sort
in
of like a
promotion?
Alice.
Yeah,
What?
is it a promotion in like a movie or something? Is that what was happening? A movie that we don't know about yet?
It sort of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. Like she did the whole birdhouse on her head in the cartoon
I didn't
movie.
even think of that.
Yes, that'd be great if they remade a movie and had a male lead. How good would that be?
That's a different spin.
That is a different spin.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a lot to take in. And then there was the Bianca Censori episode. So
Oh,
apparently, Kanye West didn't even have tickets to the Grammys. They walked the
how'd they
red,
get in?
well, they walked the red carpet. I guess Kanye was like, "Do you know who I am? I'm
Who's gonna
walking on the red
turn them
carpet."
away?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they didn't actually get into the venue. So they walked down the red
Oh, really?
carpet. Yeah, they didn't get in. They walked down the red carpet. They got turned away at the door and walked back down the red carpet.
Oh,
However,
wow.
in the process of doing so, she, in her lovely black jacket, turned with her back to the photographers, dropped her jacket, and was, I would say, 99.9% nude. Other than
Mm.
this see-through mesh thing that Kanye West is calling clothing.
Yeah. And just from looking at that little video that I did see of that, it looks like it almost looks like she doesn't want to take her jacket off. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of said a little word, whispered a word into her ear. I don't know, maybe you're not going to get your allowance this month, whatever. And then she's just gone, okay, wicked. I
I
don't know.
really want to know what their,
Dynamic is.
yeah,
There is a lot of controversy about people concerned with her welfare and whether
yeah,
she is being tricked and there's mind games to make her do these things. So she's actually from Melbourne and she's an architect. She's a brainy woman. So I'm not sure though how much of this she's against. Because if she is actually okay with this and this is all arts and promotions and whatever they articulate it, then that's fine. That's go ahead. I have no issues with
that's
that.
her prerogative. Yeah.
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 I
And
mean,
it could be that the fact that they weren't technically invited, they wanted to make a statement. Look
yeah.
at us. We're still here. Don't forget us.
Yeah, could be. But I think that they've got to be pretty careful because we've seen her pretty much naked a lot now to the point
Mhm.
where it's going to become not so gasping. It's going to be like, and she's naked again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's another Tuesday.
it's yeah,
Mm.
exactly. But I think if they explained why they're doing it and they were like, look, we see this as art. This was the subliminal messaging behind this. It would, and I guess that maybe that's the thing, it wouldn't be such a big drama. But it would
Mm.
also be nice to understand where they're coming from.
Like,
So
I'm
that
not buying
I want to
into
know.
the whole she has no voice, she's trapped, she's doing like I'm not buying into that. But and so what's interesting with that is I'm not sure if you saw Chrissy Teigen's outfit, but hers was pretty much the same. It was more a black mesh, but it had strips covering
but
bits. And I
but
was
you
like,
expect that from Chrissy, like,
do
model,
you?
ex-model, is she? Ex-model. She's in the
Mm.
spotlight. I feel like she's worn some revealing clothes before. Like that's something I would expect from her, but not a
Well,
nobody from Melbourne.
I think what is challenging for me is that these celebrities are becoming more scantily dressed, which then has a negative impact on the people that look up to them. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with wearing no clothing. It's just a place and a time.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
home or on a nude beach.
Exactly. Exactly. Why do you need to walk around in the nud?
I don't want to see Joe Blow down the road naked. No way.
Mm.
I find it interesting that there wasn't such an uproar with Chrissy Teigen as much as there was Bianca Censori, although I believe that you saw way more than anyone needed to of Bianca.
Just on that,
Exactly.
well, not that, kind of steering it away a little bit somewhere else. I was out the front of a clothing store, and the banner that they had was very not similar, but you wouldn't expect more than half naked woman at the front of a shop window, right? So this woman, like obviously plus size, she was wearing some of their lingerie, but it was quite see-through. And I was like, young children, like this is a shopping center. I'm not a prude by any means, but this is a shopping center. And young children and families, religious people, people from all different backgrounds have to walk past that every day.
But is that not similar to quite a few of the lingerie shops that you see?
Yeah.
But you would expect that maybe in a lingerie shop, not in
But
a
they're
plus
also
size
they
clothing
also
store.
are just a storefront in a shopping mall.
And
Yeah.
they also sell lingerie.
Like, it's a storefront. It's in a shopping center.
I was
guess.
a little bit taken back by it. I don't know.
But it's the same as a swimwear shop putting a plus size model in their window front with a bikini on.
Yeah, I guess. I think what we were talking about, it's that surprise factor. Like I was surprised by it. It's the first time I've seen that. Just like you were talking about Bianca. Like we're not surprised by that anymore.
No.
So I think it's
that's right.
that surprise factor that really got me.
It's because how you view that store isn't lingerie, isn't sexy lingerie.
Yeah.
And that's probably the whole point of that store is, excuse me, plus size women can also be sexy in lingerie. And here you go.
Well, when you put it in that light, absolutely. I was taken back by it. Changing the subject completely. Have you guys heard of hair cracking?
No.
What?
Hair cracking.
What is hair
No.
cracking?
It means you got like cracking hair, like it's fabulous.
Yeah. So I watched like many YouTube videos on it. It was kind of a phase a couple of years ago with the younger generation, but now it's making a comeback again. But experts are now saying how dangerous it is because they tug the hair. So it's not a little bit of light pulling. They tug it hard enough so that your skull makes a crack sound. And it's a loud sound. And what it does, it pulls the top layer away, exposes the blood vessels underneath to kind of open them up. So what experts are saying, those blood vessels can bleed and it can be like long-term damage.
So what is the point of this?
I think it's a relaxation thing for some people, because kind of going back to when we went on the girls trip and had that head massage, and I asked you guys if your person pulled your hair. Now, she didn't crack my hair, but she like tugged it, and that's apparently meant to be a relaxation thing, but I didn't like it at all. It gave me a little bit of headache. I felt like I had a bit of bruising afterwards, like it was really tender. So I can only imagine what this does. I guess people think that the benefits of it is that it increases circulation in your head.
Yeah.
But experts are saying, no, don't do it because it's doing the opposite. It's causing bleeds.
So is this very similar to that trend that was let's go get sunburned?
Yeah. I know. Have you guys, did you hear of that?
There was a thing called Let's Go Get Sunburned.
No. So basically this summer, Gen Z were pretty much going out in the sun, checking. There's apps apparently that you can monitor UV rays, but not for the actual tanning apps, that if the UV ray is between, I think it was 7 and 9, which is really high, that's the perfect time to go out and get burnt. So they're not just burning their skin, they're wanting to burn tan lines into their like bikini lines. So they've got the bikini straps into their skin. So they're purposely going out and getting burnt.
Oh
And
my
they're using,
gosh.
not only that is, so they're using these apps, these UV apps. They're going out in the hottest parts of the day. They're not using sun cream, but then they're doing an after treatment, which is vinegar on the skin. Can you imagine? They're saying that
Ow.
the burn of the vinegar alleviates the
The
burn of the
burn of the
sunburn. But what it's actually doing is creating more skin damage because it's raw open skin, and that vinegar is just getting in there and like
Acidic.
damaging.
It's
Yeah,
acidic.
that's right. And this is what Gen Z have pretty well been doing all summer. I admit when I was younger, because I was a swimmer, I would probably sometimes more often than not forget to put sunscreen on. But if I was outdoor in a swimming pool training outdoors, it would only be for that hour. It would be generally morning, 5 a.m., or it would be of an afternoon, 5 till 6. And the sun's not that bad then anyway. Now I lather up. My favorite thing is those big Bunnings hats.
Yes.
I've got a whole heap of them. I've even cut a little bit of a top out to have a like bun.
You know what you need? You need a Samantha hat from Sex and the City too.
Oh,
Yes.
they're huge.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and the glasses too. I think you need to
Yes.
have a matching outfit. I don't think they're considering the long-term effects of the sun
Absolutely not.
damage. As I said, I probably wasn't as sun smart when I was younger, and I'm now 40, and I'm finding I've got wrinkles, like deep creases on my chest
I do
from
think there's
sun
an
damage.
education in that. So, but that was 20 years ago. And we know
Mm,
more now than we did 20 years ago. So
mm.
Yeah.
surely those Gen Zs should be being more conscious about
Mhm.
being out in the sun. Like it's just
Yeah.
bizarre to me.
Especially because they're so fixated on staying youthful. And
Yeah.
sun damage is not going to keep you youthful. Throwing myself in the deep end. I grew up with a mother who was all about baby oil and tanning.
I think that's that
So,
era.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I was like 18 through to probably 22, I was down the beach. I was sunbaking. I was getting that beautiful olive skin tan.
Yeah.
I don't
I
even olive skin. I don't even me. I met the sun when I moved to Australia when I was like, no, don't like ya.
No. I remember the time that you got extremely burnt. You were as red as a lobster
So
and you blistered.
I fell
Oh
asleep on the beach. Like
gosh, that's
accidentally
embarrassing.
fell asleep
Yeah.
on the beach. I don't
I
even know
shouldn't
how long
laugh.
I was asleep on the beach for, and I had glowing white skin,
Oh,
and I was so red. It was so I blistered to the point
Yeah.
then I had obviously like sunstroke. I ended up in hospital because
mm,
my leg was so swollen that they were
oh.
worried that I had a clot. So
Like a fluid.
I had to go to the hospital and get a Doppler done. I don't know if you know what a Doppler is, but it's like a stick with like a bally bit on the end, and it's
Tries
like
to find a
an
pulse.
ultrasound,
Yeah.
and they run it down your leg from your groin right down, and that on sunburned skin is not pleasant
Yeah.
anyway. But I had to like, thankfully there was no clot. It was just
Yeah.
I was just so badly burned.
So
So
that's the
any
short-term effects, like
mm,
sunburn, sunstroke. Long-term effects. I had a melanoma cut out of my arm when I was in
mm,
my early 20s. And that thankfully I didn't have to get treatment for it. And a lot of people, when they get melanomas cut out, don't need treatment
mm,
as long as they take enough either side of like a circumference of where the mole is. And they cut really deep. And it was it's a really big scar. It's like 4 centimeters long for like a little mole, and some people don't get skin checks either. I get
Yeah.
a mole map scan every year. And that's because when I was in my 20s, as I said, they found one. Imagine if I
Yeah.
hadn't have like gone to a doctor and got that tested, I would most likely have cancer throughout my body now
mm,
Yeah.
or be dead.
mm.
So they're just not thinking of the long-term effects of sunburn. And
That's
not
right.
only that is, they could just fake tan a bikini line on.
Or do what one girl did and get it tattooed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Perfect.
I mean, that's a commitment.
Perfect.
You know what else the government, particularly in Victoria, I think, they've banned solariums. They've now said, okay, it's not just the sun that is dangerous, it is solariums like the fake sun.
Yes.
It's just the UV.
Which is very
And that's
contradictory to
statewide.
information that I got back in the day. So I would say 20 years ago, I was told to go to a solarium because I had psoriasis, and the UV is actually very good for psoriasis, which I can attest to. I went on a girls' cruise for my 30th, and it was 3 nights, 4 days, and I came back and you could not even see it at all.
Yeah, it's good for because it's same as eczema. The sun helps it. But just I've gone from psoriasis to eczema to cortisone. So I have one thing on cortisone. I know my brain, ADHD. So Amy Schumer, I think she is very funny. And I'm not sure if anybody has seen this. Amy Schumer, because of she's admitted that she's had cortisone injections into scars. She said she had it injected into C-sections for many years, into little scars on her body, that she's now got a syndrome called Cushing's syndrome, which is actually what makes her face look really round, the moon face effect. And that's what the syndrome does. And it's pretty much from years of overuse of cortisone. And so she found this out. It's come out that it was, negative comments. Somebody, after her new movie that she made, a lot of people were saying, wow, your face is really round, or you're really bloated. And it wasn't until she was reading comments from actual doctors saying, yes, we agree, your face is really bloated. It's something, it's moon face, or it's called Cushing syndrome, and it's from too much cortisone. And she's gone, I've been getting these cortisone shots for years. Like,
no one said anything.
That's right. I was blown away.
Well, that's like Depo-Provera, or however you say it, apparently can make you infertile.
What is that?
It's
I know what infertile is.
So is for people that need to not have their period.
Okay.
Well, that's what my sister used to use it for anyway. And because she has epilepsy, her epilepsy was linked to the hormone change in her body. So when she was I think she started grade 8, and she started to have that hormonal change, and then that's when her epilepsy kicked in, and they put her onto Depo just to stop it so that she could continue functioning
is that
until
the
it got
injection that people used to get, the Depo needle? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you were not meant to continue it, and they had her on it for a number of years.
Wow.
My other sister got Depo for her acne, and again was not meant to be on it for a number of years, and yet they had her on it for a number of years. But future studies in it found that it could lead to making you infertile.
Yeah, wow. And see, that's the problem with going to medications that are rushed in making. I suppose big one in the media the last few years has been all the COVID shots. There's been half of the population saying get it for safety and for health reasons, and the other half is saying no, it hasn't been studied long enough. I wouldn't take anything. Well, a lot of those people are anti-vax, but some people who are quite educated people have said a vaccine or a medication really needs to be studied for a minimum of 10 years to know all of the effects that it may have or may lead to.
It's sort of it's a double-edged sword with the whole COVID thing, isn't it? Because it was during a time where the whole world was in lockdown, and like there wasn't any real way or future out of it. So it was like do we just push this through so that we can potentially go back to normal, or do we have the risk of losing more people to this virus? So it's like, do we just push it to hopefully get to the end of it, or do we let it continue its course?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like it literally is a double-edged sword. Which way? Like, and everyone was calling for the government to be doing something about it. So, the government did something about it, and then it was all the backlash that came afterwards. Like, why didn't you research this? And it's the perfect example where you need to have years and years and years and years and years to be able to research and develop proper protocols around things that are developed. But when the world, the
Thousands of
population of
people
the
were
world,
dying.
that's right,
Yeah.
and people are calling for the government to be doing something, they don't have years and years and years to do
Yeah.
anything about it.
Hindsight's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing, especially
Yeah.
when a situation like COVID has never occurred in our
Lifetime.
history, in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite topics is vaginas.
Way
And
to-
I want to
way
talk
to
about
change the
them
subject.
again. I want to talk about them again. No. So have you guys seen on TikTok, there's a woman that says, I'm a coochie doctor and I've been a coochie doctor for 15 years. And these are the things that you have to do to make your vagina smell nice. You can drink.
That's not my algorithm, Emma, no.
No,
I know. I
exactly.
wonder what I've been looking at.
Have you been looking up vaginas?
I think
No.
you're hitting all the menopause stuff.
Yeah, I
exactly.
think maybe that's what it is. So apparently, if you drink pineapple juice, it gets rid of the fishy smell. But
Yes.
but what annoys me, right, is that it is clearly a script that somebody has written. And I saw this one woman, and then I flicked through, and I literally saw another woman saying the exact same thing. And then I was like, okay, dig deeper. And I clicked through again. There would have been 8 or 9 of them all in a row, like different women. And
Same
I
script.
watched this exactly same script. Like
So
that.
I'm going to say something here, controversially, maybe. Is it actually the same woman, but AI?
So you mean like,
Dumbfounded. Have I just dropped the mic?
Are we living in the
just
Matrix?
explain a little bit more on your train of thought.
Okay,
so you think AI's taken it and run because AI is smart and going to overtake the world?
Well, quite possibly. But no, I'm saying that, like, for instance, the whole Tom Cruise AI that came out, is it the same person, but she's developed other faces for her and other voices for her using AI?
Or it could just be someone being a sponsor and saying, I want you 8 people to talk about our product, and here's the script I want you to say.
Yeah,
could be simple
but
as
it's not
that
just
too.
one product. There's like, I don't know, I can't even remember what it is. 10 things of what you can do to make your, vagina vibrant or not smell or whatever.
I know that there's all
And-
those gummies that are being like circulated at the moment. The ad for the gummies that make your vagina smell better.
No, I haven't.
Oh, actually,
do I need to get onto this?
That came on the local TV station at 5 p.m. and my husband was flabbergasted. He was like, how is that allowed to be on this TV at this time of the day? Surely that is for later on. And I was like, it's just an advert for gummies, like.
See, again, it was the surprise element. He wasn't expecting that.
He was not expecting that. And I was like, it's just like talking about erectile dysfunction. The too much flatulence or whatever it is.
Yes. And the more that it's spoken about, the less shock value there is.
Yes, Emma, you've got a story.
Speaking of shock and farts. So.
Oh, yes. I wonder if you're going where I'm going.
I think I am. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1?
I think I am, me too.
I have seen so much about women farting in jars and selling them.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. So I want to go just not on farting, right? So I also saw a video, and I'm not sure if I sent it to you guys. It was of a woman selling her morning breath. So she doesn't brush her teeth for a number of days, and she breathes into a bag, and then she kind of zips it and then kind of smells it and goes, "Ooh," for the, for the wow element of it.
Dental hygiene.
No, well, her teeth look really lovely on the video, but she makes £5,000 a week selling her morning breath.
Oh my gosh.
Which kind of, well, I don't know. I wouldn't want to smell someone's morning breath.
Comes down to a fetish again.
Yeah.
Yet again.
Well, it kind of makes me think I'm a little hard up for cash, right? So what can I do? My breath has never been that bad. And she says that she eats like nasty things like salmon and stuff. And I just wouldn't do that. I can't. I'm not going to sell my breath.
Don't eat some onion and garlic.
Well, that's bad for my reflux, love.
She is
Okay,
aging,
maybe
remember?
don't do that. That's right. Sorry, I forgot about that.
No, so I was like, okay. I've also heard stories, and I'm sure you've all heard foot stories. How Lily Allen, is it Lily Allen she claims that she makes more money selling foot pics than what she does with her music. So I also heard this thing on the radio. A woman called up and she said it was about a friend. And she's like,
course.
she can make any,
About a friend.
yeah, she's like, I don't know the amount, say $500. She's like, the least amount of money she might make for a photo is $500. And it could be something as simple as dipping her pinky toe into some custard. And I know Paige would be grossed out by that.
For all our listeners, I do not do custard.
What would you prefer, Paige? Thrush?
If you had to.
Do you know what? I would definitely take thrush over custard.
Oh, big call.
But
That's right.
just chuck some yogurt on that thrush. I'll be right.
That's actually something I have to ask you later, but just that. So I was, and then I think the most amount of money she got was like $5,000, and she said that she had to put her big toe somewhere. So I'm wondering, like, people are making money selling foot pics, selling morning breath, selling farts in a jar. People are even making money selling fresh air. So they go with the sun, like on sunrise, like years ago. They run around in open fields with nets and catch the fresh air, and they bottle it, and then they sell it to.
So I think we should ask our listeners what, if they have been doing to get some extra side hustle money, selling stuff on, is it OnlyFans?
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
Yeah. And I even went one step further. So
you did some research, did you? Did you set up an account?
really looking into
this. I didn't. I almost
really considering it.
I was considering it. So I went on and I was like, oh, well, how do I look at this? Can I look at what content's on OnlyFans? But you need to sign up. And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm quite there yet.
That's a commitment.
That's a commitment. And I'm not ready to go there. But yeah, I don't know. Something that repulses me, but also interests me and intrigues me. Like, how do you make some flash cash, people?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have to let you know of a very unfortunate incident that happened to me during the week.
What could it be?
Well, that's it for part 1 of Spilling the Tea. Tune in to part 2 to find out what Paige has to tell us.